Hey, what's going on, everyone? Um, it's certainly a weird time in life right now. It's June 1st on a Monday. So we're still right in the middle of the whole COVID. Well, not in the middle, but I mean, we'll see, right? It's all new of what's going on, and I wanted to discuss with you my thoughts on um, the privilege that I have, not being black and not having to go through racism when it comes to. So I wrote an article today, so I'll read to you guys what I wrote. So I wrote, I'm typically not a guy who discuss politics or race publicly. Actually, I like usually hate it when I see people. I used to hate it when see people write about it on Facebook because I was kind of like in my own bubble in a lot of way. So I wrote, I'm privileged that I could run around the neighborhood without being shot. I'm privileged that when I walk around a grocery store, security guards do not profile me and follow me around. I'm fortunate enough that people do not have to hold their purses tighter when I'm near them. These are some of the experiences that my friends have shared with me. I have a friend named Melvin who lives in Philly who was very open about talking about how he feels the tension in the air when he walks around people, especially in the middle of the night. And he has like a pretty dark complexion, so I'm so glad that he's able to be vulnerable, and I've created a space where he can share with me a lot of these things because I know it's not always easy. Um, and I would say the one reason why I never would speak about these types of things is just I think just being ignorant of it in general. I think we all have our own things to worry about, and humans are innately the fight or flight mode is strong within us because of hundreds of thousands of years of programming. And yeah, honestly, I was fighting for more of stuff that's more relevant to me, right? Like the stuff the Asians have to go through, right? With starting with building the railroad, and more recently with the xenophobia, with the president calling it the Chinese virus. And I'm pretty torn apart because I used to live with a police officer, and he would share with me stories about how because everyone's always recording everything, police officers are hesitating a lot more when making decisions. And when you're working with a lot of criminals, a few a second or or even half a second could mean the difference between life or death. He worked in Camden, New Jersey, which is one of the most dangerous cities in the US, right? So also acknowledging that a few bad apples have ruined it for a lot. But I do think at a systematic scale, at a more system, because I do think there's a lot that we can do as a macro, as an individual. But I think policy, you need to have both, right? You need to have the policy and the individuals, right? So one does not take care of everything, right? It has to be both of them equally as important. So I said I'm extremely sad that there is violence in the world and that there's this much chaos going on, but I do see that there's a breaking point. Similar for me, when I hold something in, one day I'll just explode and just be like cursing people off and just not being myself, right? So, when you do get all this with everything that's going on and all these instances of just, how white cops can just get away with everything, it seems like, it's almost no surprise that there's all these protests and riots. I would be too, honestly, like if that has happened to like a lot of Asians, right? I mean, we tend to be more passive, which I don't necessarily think it's a good thing. I think it's good to speak up. Um, but yeah, I remember feeling so helpless when I heard about the death of Vincent Chin. What basically it's the Asian version of what happened, right? He got killed because of racism, and there was no, basically the offender is white and nothing ever happened to him, so that really made me sad. But I think with every tragedy there's an opportunity, and it makes me happy that white people are finally acknowledging that white privilege is a thing. I think I've heard so many people say that there's no, like, no, like, that's not a thing. And I think acceptance is the first key with any change. I used to even have a story about how like I hated like middle-aged white men were the enemies of the world, and I lived my life like that, right? But then getting older, I realized that I can't generalize anything. And I'm lucky that I've gone through a lot of self-development programs, and I work at a company that has these dialogues that's able to open up the conversation. And I have heard so many sad stories about a lot of my friends talking about the racism. So it's been something that it's been top of mind, and just wanted to open up this conversation. Would love to hear your thoughts. And yeah, thanks for listening to me. It's a way to process emotions, and let me know if any of you guys agree or anything. Take care.